Somebody once said, when opportunity knocks, get up and open the door, and this is what we've done. Today we have in the studio with us two of the Merck Foundation leaders who are in Mauritius to do some work. So we have Dr. Frank Stegenbert-Havenkamp, who's the chairman of the Merck Foundation, and we have Senator Dr. Rasha Kelledge, who's the CEO of the foundation, with us. Thank you very much, both, for giving us some of your very precious time. Now, we'll go straight into what the Merck Foundation is. Obviously, for our viewers, some of them might know what Merck Foundation does, but just generally give us an idea of what Merck Foundation does in the world today.
Right, the Merck Foundation basically is the philanthropic arm of Merck, which is a major German pharmaceutical life science company. So not the American company, it's a German company. And of course, we are family owned. 70% of the business is owned by my family. I'm also the head of the family and the head of the company as well. And our aim was always to give back to society. That was the main wish of the family, personally of ourselves. And of course, the best way to do it is via our foundation. That's the reason why we set up quite a number of years ago, the Merck Foundation. And we were very fortunate to found Dr. Rasha to develop it for us and to run it for us, with the main focus really in helping to better the lives of people. Yeah? That's what we want to do with our pharmaceutical products, with our life science product, the electronic products. But on the other hand, of course, we also have to do it in an area which is not so, let's put it the way, so rich that they can afford it all, as in Europe. And that's the reason why we've set up the Merck Foundation. The main aim there really is to focus on educating doctors, educating nurses, helping young mothers getting over the stigma of not being childbearing, and so on. There's a lot of things. I think Dr. Rasha will go into it in more detail.
So, Dr. Rasha, you find yourself at the head of the foundation today. Before you joined the foundation, obviously, you've got some very important titles to your name. You're a member of the Egyptian Senate still today. You've been nominated many times as the most influential African, the African Woman of the Year for a few years as well. So when you came to the Merck Foundation, what did you bring to that foundation?
Thank you very much. Of course, just to tell you that I have been with Merck since 1996. But in different titles and different roles. But we decided in 2012, in collaboration with Professor Frank Stegenbert-Havenkamp, who is not only the chairman of Merck Foundation Board of Trustees, but he's also the chairman of the executive board of Merck. He, as also the chairman of Merck Family Board, he wanted that time to create a good program to build capacity in Africa. So we discussed that we can do that through programs to build healthcare capacity and help transform the patient care landscape in Africa, knowing that there is a lot of gaps that we can fill. And what more than investing in improving health? Because this contributes to the social and economic development by default. So we decided to do these programs, and Professor Frank was always with us. We traveled to Africa many times. We run the programs by ourselves. We dig 7 layers deep. We recognize the challenges and work on the programs by ourselves. Then we decided, let's do the foundation. Professor Frank said, let's do the foundation, establish it to be the framework of all the programs we are doing, which was previously as part of corporate social responsibility. Then, of course, he was the chairman of the board of trustees. He hired me to be the CEO of Merck Foundation, and we scaled up to more countries in Africa and Asia and Latin America, but main focus on Africa. And main focus also in Africa, we wanted to focus on French-speaking countries, Portuguese-speaking countries, which was ignored. But Dr. Frank wanted to do something beyond donation and charity. We want to build capacity. We want to have long-term impact on the legacy of Africa. Help Africa to help themselves. And of course, the thing is, I am also from Egypt, so I am from Africa, so I understood the challenges and the type of solution can be implemented. And then lately, just lately, I've been hired by the Egyptian Senate. It's like 1 year ago. But of course, my whole career was with Merck in a way or another.
Now, the foundation itself is not a small entity. It's quite a big entity. How is it that you can manage that kind of large, you're present in so many countries. How easy or how difficult is it to be able to do that?
That's a good question. You see, we have if you like, a two-pronged approach. We try to manage it from below. That's what Dr. Rasha is doing really daily. She's having all the threats in her hands, but we also try to manage it from above. That's the reason why I'm here today, because we will see your president on Monday and the Minister of Health tomorrow. I think we will see him.
And Prime Minister.
And the Prime Minister as well. So
obviously this is being recorded, so it will be already done by the time.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
definitely. Yes.
Yeah, but we will see. We always tried really to involve the top of the country, the top people as well, as also on the grassroots, because that's the only way you can really make progress. And to manage it, look, we are in 68 countries as a company, as an industrial company, because somewhere the money has come from to finance it all. And of course, that's also our industrial, our pharmaceutical and life science business. And we employ more than nearly 60,000 people. So, and of course, Dr. Rasha, she comes from the pharmaceutical side originally. Yeah, so we all learned how to manage people and how to manage organizations. So that is not that much of a problem. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, you see the impact is huge, but we know with the experience we worked in business and before how to manage with cost effectiveness and how to have a real impact.
That's right, and that's maybe also different to many other NGOs. Yes. Yeah, they are all philanthropic. We are philanthropic, but we have got an industrial background.
Yes.
So people who work for us, yeah, have got the skills of managing companies, and I think that makes also one of the differences. And for me personally, one of the reasons why we have been so successful over the past years in building up the whole operation.
So, Dr. Rasha, you've been selected. You've said you're from Africa. Everybody knows Egypt is in Africa, as one of the 100 most influential Africans 3 times in a row. 2019, 2020, and 2021. Congratulations to the foundation on being recognized as the NGO of the year for 2022, the most influential NGO shaping Africa's future. Does that reflect the work that you do?
Yes, it does. At first, it makes me personally, and also many of our colleagues, very proud, because to achieve that, it was a democratic online vote, which has not been tampered with, which is a great achievement. And it also recognized the enormous work the Merck Foundation, mainly driven by the really endless efforts of Dr. Rasha, I really have to say that, achieved over the past years for helping really African doctors, African people, and putting a footprint down for what we really wanted to achieve, to make people's life better.
Dr. Rasha, you feel the same way, I'm sure.
Of course, I was so happy, and I was so happy first because I made Professor Frank proud because he was the biggest supporter and to initiate this foundation. I was so happy for all the stakeholders and partners because they were calling me and say, we won, we won. So I felt that it is not only our winning, it's the winning of everyone involved with Merck Foundation, and we are a lot because the beneficiaries, the alumni who graduated from the training, the women and fertile women we're supporting in communities and then in rural areas, the partners like the First Ladies, who is ambassador of Merck Foundation, more than a mother, 20 of them, as ministers of health, education, gender, and information across 42 countries, as heads of societies, medical societies, media trust in Mauritius, they called me to congratulate me. So everyone was happy, and it was never going to happen without their support, because we cannot do any program without support of the local partners and the buy-in and their involvement and follow-up. So it was really a good exercise of engagement and measure, like gauging your value and the impact you have done in society.
Let me just add one point, because I think it's quite important. I mentioned this, of course, to our family. There's some 300 family members behind the company. And for them, it's also a sign that the money they're giving for it, because we have to donate this money basically,
Of course, yeah.
Is extremely well used. And the sort of moral consciousness of the family is very high. And the work we are doing here is very much accepted by the family, and also not to mention, forget to mention, by the colleagues of ours. Yeah? We have got 60,000 colleagues, and for them it's also
it's a pride
something.
for everybody, I suppose.
Absolutely, yeah. So it has a lot of impact.
Yes. So, Dr. Rasha, you've been selected, and we talked about the influence. You've been selected many times as the most influential Africa, 3 times in a row, if I'm correct, 2019, 2020, and 2021. Obviously, you've also been nominated as being African, most influential African, not just as a woman.
Yes.
So in the line of work that you're in, how does that help you achieve your aims and your goals?
It's actually as a vicious cycle. I achieved this because the work we are doing was very impactful, and it was serious, and it was trustworthy, and it touched everyone's life. So people, of course, they see the face of Merck Foundation is me. So I was selected as Influential Women of the Year and then Influential African because of my work in Merck Foundation and the impact Merck Foundation is doing in the Africa community, not only African health sector, but also the community awareness and the social aspects we are addressing. And most importantly was the thing that emphasized it all is Merck More Than a Mother. Merck Foundation More Than a Mother campaign we created.
Project.
It's a signature campaign of Merck Foundation to empower infertile women and to break the stigma of infertility. And this problem was touching every family because the incidence of fertility was so high, like 1 every 4 couples are infertile, but nobody dared to address it.
Yes,
It has a taboo, and everyone wants to hide it and shy from it, and then mistreat and abuse women. So this campaign actually created a huge impact, and therefore it was this. But when I got this, I was adamant that this will lead, I know personally, this will lead the Merck Foundation also to be the most influential. It was just a step to have Merck Foundation also the most influential NGO in Africa, and it happened.
Infertility affects men and the women equally. Infertility doesn't just affect a woman only. Fertility is a shared responsibility. Men, support your wives. Be stronger together. Infertility is not a stigma. Couple, get informed, get tested, and have a regular checkup together. Women, you are more than a mother. Yes, women. You are more than a mother.
As a woman at the head of such a foundation working in Africa, whether we like it or not, women still have a lot of way to go in Africa to achieve what we call the gender balance. So does it help you when you go to countries in Africa and you present the projects that you do? Because then I think it becomes clearer to the leaders in African countries, which are mostly men, we must say, that you mean business.
It's actually, we are dealing with the first ladies of Africa, which also they are women. So we form a platform called Merck Foundation African First Ladies Initiative and Committee that we are all working as women, and of course led by Professor Frank, because he is very much he's important for him to empower women either in his business or in Merck Foundation. So to make all these programs that with the spirit in our programs to empower women. And for example, in scholarships, we provide scholarships, 50% of our scholarships going to women doctors. And we have a researcher, Best African Women Research Award. The media we are supporting, most of them coming from, they are female. So it's always, the program we are doing, Merck More Than a Mother, is empowering women, infertile women, educating Linda to support girls' education. So many of the things we are doing is to empower women and girls. Of course, being a woman didn't help me or help me. It doesn't have an effect on how the program's running, except that I understand, because I am an African woman, what women need and how can to work on to help them.
Surely that helps you when you're dealing with...
Exactly.
Yeah, but there's another aspect to this as well, because many companies, they still struggle with the gender question, which we at Merck never did. Never, really never. This glass ceilings for women we never had. Our CEO now is a woman, a Spanish woman working for a German company, an Egyptian woman working in Africa for us. So this point is a no-go for us, and that helped within the organization.
Within the organization, yes, but when we're talking, you're dealing with African countries, that becomes different.
That becomes different, but if you have the support of the organization and know that also the CEO is a woman, gives you a totally different standing.
Of course, yes.
That helps. Of course, it is an uphill struggle at the end of the day, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you talked about some of your programs, what you call the awards that you
Yeah, the Media Recognition Award, yes.
There are 8 important ones, yes, mostly, and you talked about More Than Mother, diabetes and hypertension.
Yes.
There are so many categories. For you personally, which ones are the most important?
Media. Of course, the Media Recognition Award, one of the awards that we have, Media Recognition Award, we have Filmmaking Award, and Song and Fashion Awards. And all of them with the theme...
Women,
yes,
Fashion Award.
yes. This is where women
Men
come.
also.
because we know that the women and the female is 50% of the society, and they have impact, and they have rule, and they are creative. And also men, there's a lot of men, media and filmmakers and fashion. But this award is very important because we strongly believe that fashion and art and media can be a critical partner to make a change.
Yes, it's all one package. But at the end, if you ask me the same question, you see, I would always say the fact that we educate doctors. Yeah? So ready-made doctors, we give them a special training in certain areas like oncology or gastrology or emergency care. And in Mauritius alone, we have done 63 of those trainings since we started to cooperate with the Mauritian government in 2017. That really shows you the impact we can have and we want to have. Because in many of these countries, not in Mauritius, but in many other African countries, there were not a single specialized doctor. And now they are there.
We're making history. Yes, because we're training the first specialist. But I saw your question is only about the awards, not about the programs in general.
The programs we'll talk about in a bit.
Yes.
The awards.
Definitely, the most important thing, the scholarships and the training, the doctors, because you touch patients, you know, lives and their families and their community.
Yeah,
But from the awards, it's the media recognition award is the most important because, of course, media enter every house.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
And they can really contribute to make a change, create culture shift, be the voice of the voiceless. So I think it's important.
And talking of media, you've got over 4 million followers on the social media.
Yes.
So it shows that there is an interest in what you do.
No,
Yes.
absolutely.
True. Across Africa.
Yeah.
And it's increasing like 1 million every year. So
Okay.
it is it's amazing.
And also that we use the media in the right way.
Yes.
The electronic media, the social networks and so on we use to carry on and further our message.
Good,
Yes.
thank you.
And also the online training, you remember?
Online,
Yes.
yeah, right.
Online training.
Yeah.
So you're in touch with technology as well. Obviously, a company like yours needs to be able to do that. Now, we touched on this earlier on. You talked about taboos and everything else. So Merck's Foundation, More Than a Mother's movement, is an iconic movement for you. It has changed the perspective of addressing a very serious subject, which is infertility. The stigma that it carries also, and women empowerment in Africa. Now, tell us a little bit more about this campaign, this important campaign, and why and what led you to create it.
Russia, that's you. That's your.
But you like the campaign very much.
Yeah, but you did
Okay,
it. You did it. You, from the horse's mouth. It's much better.
So it was very important to address this topic because it was ignored totally, and no one dared to talk about it in media, in community, between families. The woman was the only one to be blamed for infertility, whether it's her fault or not, because all of us know scientifically it's 50-50. 50% can be male factor. We should say that because it should be known by everyone. It's 50% male factor, 50% female factor. It's a shared responsibility. So no need to blame only the woman for it and never, you know, join. Men should speak up about this problem, join hands with their wives to go to the doctor, get tested together, get treatment together, and start a happy family together, a journey. But of course, this was not the case in many, many cultures in Africa. So we decided to create More Than a Mother, to say that women are more than just mother, whether they have children or not, they are more than mothers. Men also more than fathers. Because whether they have children or not, this is not define you. What defines you is what you are doing, what contribution to society, what is your value in the community. Therefore, when we find a lot of women in the rural area believe that their only purpose in life to have children, when they lose this purpose, of course they want to die. Or they accept any kind of treatment because they feel unvaluable and have no need or purpose. So we created that to them, raising awareness, having them information to know their rights, and also economic empowerment, some projects that can have, you know, small businesses, a chicken farm, 2 cows, things like in rural area, to have their own income and to feel independent. And this makes a huge change. But of course, media, this is what I'm saying to you, media was very important in this.
I was going to ask you is, how difficult was it to get that program accepted by rural communities in Africa?
You would be shocked. They actually, many of them, they didn't know. They thought that this is the way it is, and they never know, because I don't think they are evil by nature. They didn't know that it's really men can be the reason.
Totally uneducated.
Yes.
That's the problem.
Once they know, and they realize that it's wrong to do something like this, and the fact is so and so, they start to change. So therefore, I recognize that if we partner with media, the media can educate them, and then with the information reach them properly.
Which has worked for you, is to work with the first ladies of many African countries together in what More Than a Mother. Has that brought you closer, not only to the leaders of those countries, but to the people of those countries?
Yes,
Yeah, yeah,
yes, of course, because the First Lady is the leader of the community, and she has always a role to create a community culture shift or to adopt any program nationwide. So it was very important, and of course to access also to ministries to take it seriously, so we can get the trainees' name properly, we can get the media partnership properly through the Ministry of Communication. So we wanted to have the proper channels to implement the program in a very cost-effective way, because we don't want to just waste money and charity and donation without having an impact. And the only way to do that properly is by partnership with the First Lady office. So, and when the First Lady change, we partner with the new First Lady office. So it's always institution we are dealing with. So therefore, of course, they are very credible. They are loved by the community. They can actually advise, and the people will listen to them. And then we shifted. We said that education is very important, because we don't want only to address the people who is already suffered the problem. We need to address the new generation before the personality form. So children, it's very important. So we said, okay, let's promote education for girls, let's have storybooks for children, and so on. So it was actually, therefore, holistic. We start from also all aspects of age, from young children.
Let me go one step back, because you said something very important.
What?
We deal with institutions.
Yes.
So we do not deal with the First Lady personally.
Absolutely.
Of course, we do then when she's the First Lady. Yeah. But the First Lady may change, because it's all politics change, heads change. But we are dealing with the institution of Minister of Health, President, First Lady. And I think that's also one of the secrets why we were successful and why we can maintain this success. But it doesn't mean that you do not need the help of the individual then.
Absolutely. The individual is there for a time, as you said. And once they go, it's interesting to learn that it carries on.
Yes.
It carries on,
without
absolutely.
a problem at all. You talked about training and scholarships provided. Over 1,300 doctors from 45 countries have benefited from the scholarships. Now, many of those doctors, after graduation, are the first specialists in their countries. You've said the lack of doctors in many countries. And this is a history in the making that makes Merck Foundation an important part of Africa's legacy. Tell us how you've achieved this.
I have to refer to the lady who did it. You see, I know what she did. But if I tell you that, it's much better if the person who did it all, who organized it, who is behind it, who puts a lot of pressure on people to perform, because also if you give a scholarship, people have to perform them, because we provide the finance and we expect them to do it. And they do it. But how? Russia, that's something...
Acknowledge the support Professor Frank is giving us, because also it was very new for Merck to do such things. We usually used to donation and charity, but he created this, that we have to accept this strategy to build capacity. Everyone was skeptical, because the implementation was going to be very difficult. How to manage all these people, how to make sure that they take it seriously, they succeed. If they need to travel to clinical training, how they will leave their families and come back without work. All these challenges, it's very important. And the solution, when we discussed it and deliberate how to make it successful, we said it has to be in partnership with the Ministry of Health. The selection has to be by the Ministry of Health, so they can come back if they travel or they did the diploma, work for the public sector. So the benefit goes to the people who cannot afford. So if we just do it by anyone apply for us, then it will be a career opportunity only. But we wanted to have improving the patient care or strengthening the patient care in the country, in the public sector, most probably. And of course, when we talk to the Ministry of Health, they select the individual accordingly, mostly after interview to see they are enthusiastic and they are capable, they have internet, they can travel. If they travel, they carry on with their salary to cover for their families and their homes until they come back. So there was a collaboration with the Ministry of Health. I think this is the reason of the success. Of course, selecting also the needed specialties, because there is specialties, you have doctors, and also geographic scope. I don't want all the doctors to be selected from the capital. It has to be from across the country.
It's very profound.
And of course, what do pharmaceutical companies normally do? What we have done for many years, praziquantel, which is a drug against schistosomiasis, or schisto. We donate billions of tablets every year via the WHO. So that's one thing. But this approach is totally different. It's, if you like, we give directly via WHO and the Ministry of Health of different countries to fight this terrible disease, schisto. But on the other hand, we train doctors to directly help people on the spot.
Very holistic approach.
Yeah, very holistic. A new one.
Merck Foundation has shared a long-time partnership with Mauritius when we come to our country. Over 63 scholarships have been provided to our young Mauritian doctors. Now, tell us in what areas are you focusing in Mauritius when you talk about specialization for doctors?
In all areas necessary, so oncology,
diabetes,
all areas,
needed.
Emergency medicine, respiratory diseases, so everything. The whole, there's no specialized area we pick out. Whatever is needed in the country, we try to help. And of course, it's mainly a lot in oncology, because it's terrible disease, it's on the increase. And very few oncologists are around in Africa, given the incidence within the population.
So it's the same in Mauritius as well, I suppose.
Yes. So as I said, it's a partnership with the Ministry of Health. So Ministry of Health identifies the gaps and send us, we need this training in this specialty. If we have this training available, online or clinical, we, of course, get into the picture. And, of course, the eligibility criteria is very important as well.
Now, are you happy with the partnership that you have with Mauritian authorities? Obviously, you have a couple of partners, the Media Trust, the Fashion and Design Studio, the Ministry of Health. How happy are you with that partnership?
Amazing.
Very happy.
Of course, that's why we are here. Yes. This is our first visit after Corona.
Yeah, absolutely. Because of Corona, since early 2020, we didn't do any visits. The first visit goes to Mauritius.
Yeah. We are very happy.
Not by coincidence, because we are very openly received here, and a lot of support from all the official side. That's important. If you reckon for within 5 years, 63 doctors trained, it's an enormous quota, really enormous quota, more than in many other countries.
I think it's transformational.
A lot of your work is also in education. You talked about storybooks for kids in different languages. You've also talked about videos, TV shows.
Yes.
Why invest in such education schemes?
It's a holistic approach, again.
Yes, education and health, they are the main two factors that can contribute significantly, maybe majorly, in the social and economic development of any country. And of course, there is a lot of gaps in this in many countries. Girls' education, and of course, as I said, the health as a public sector. So these two gaps we recognize and we know how to address it. So why not?
Yeah, and also if you have got a lesser educated population, which we all have in every country, for them it's much easier to understand the problems when you have some picture book.
Yes.
Who tells a story which they understand then.
Yes.
And it's entertaining for them as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Since also we have a lot of social aspects like stopping FGM, ending gender-based violence, child marriage, ending child marriage, girls' education, which is not actually on its best, and of course breaking the stigma of infertility. Too many social factors that can be addressed. If you talk to people, do this, it's this number, we'll never accept. You need to have something that is vibrant and colorful and also unconventional and soft, with a soft power, like songs, like children's storybooks, like films, things like that, yeah.
Não importa se és uma menina, tens direito de sonhar. Estudando podes ser o que quiseres. Tens vontade, sorriso encantador. Tua beleza não é fraqueza, és forte de natureza.
this year, the theme that was chosen for the International Women's Day is real equality.
Equality.
Real equality.
Real equality.
Because we have equality in law, but in reality, it becomes very different. Has the Merck Foundation any programs that they're going to launch or already in place to address this issue?
So we are addressing it every day with our programs. So for us, as I said before, this equality question has never been that burning because we are doing it since many years. So it's something very natural for us. And if you look at all the different programs we are doing.
Starting by me as the CEO of the foundation, this is actually a role model for all the organization that gender equality. But also the programs we do for empowering African researchers, women African researchers, the scholarships I told you about that mostly 50% goes to women. Girls' education, all these things are contributing.
Now, is there any new areas that you want to address in Africa or in any other countries?
I think
obviously it might be a trade secret.
No, I don't think so. We do so many things.
Yes.
Such a broad program, going to so many different areas. I think if you fulfill all the tasks we want to do with those programs, we are more than busy for the years to come.
Yes.
And if you add more to it, you see, it doesn't get better. You lose, may lose quality.
If you add more, Dr. Merritt, will have more work to do.
No, it's not only more work. You see, you may lose quality because, you see, you are spreading to yourself too thinly.
Yes.
Now, you're very conscious of your positioning in Africa. You're very conscious of what you do. Is there any areas where you feel you could do better?
No, you can always do better. That's maybe a very plain statement, but that's a fact. But I traveled privately for the last 25 years, virtually all African countries. There are very few I haven't been in. And my observation was mainly African women are the backbone of society in Africa, far more than in other countries.
Yes, I think a lot of people have said that.
Yeah, it's true. You see them everywhere, working hard. And there are also a lot of equality issues in respect to the African woman. That's something we want to address. And that's the reason why we have, of course, more than a mother. And all these programs, you see, fashion programs, media programs. And I think we have made a lot of progress there. And I'm really proud that we achieved so much, which should not mean that we will not continue, that we gained this position already. Because if you look at many other NGOs, they may spend far more money probably, but achieving far less. And with our background, I think we will continue. And also the funding is there. The will is there. The field is there to do the work. And let's do it.
I think focus is the main factor. Focus on the same objective. Don't get bored or lose interest and want to have something new. No, focus. You'll achieve more, much more than you expect, because there is exponential growth. Always when you increase, you grow even more than what you expecting. You know the theory.
Well, in Mauritius we have a lot of small NGOs. A lot of them struggle with dealing with day-to-day issues that they have. As a large organization, as a large foundation, do you have any advice for those who are struggling today to achieve their basic aims?
Rasha, what would be your advice?
The advice is, as I said, to focus and to have a concrete results. I don't know which NGOs you're talking about.
Very small, some of our
but even if they are small,
children or whatever, but they have
just have an impact and a result that can be touched and measured.
Well, before we close, do you have any messages that you want to pass on to the Mauritian people about Merck Foundation, but about other things that you've seen and
I think the very simple message is you make use of it. We are here. We are on the ground. We have people here working in Mauritius, Mauritian who work for us, who work with us, and make use of it. So the doctors should take advantage of it. The nurses should take advantage of the programs we are offering. They should come forward themselves and do it. Not wait till we call them, because you have to be proactive. That's the message.
Dr. Marasha?
I want everyone who watching today to apply for our awards. I want to see the real talents of Mauritius, either media recognition awards, the media coverage, and the songs, all the singers and musicians in Mauritius apply to our awards, the fashion designers, and the filmmakers. Because I know that there is a very good talent. I've seen myself yesterday, very good talents in Mauritius. I got the jewelry making things, the designs and everything. I want them all to contribute to raise awareness about the important topics we mentioned, more than a mother, breaking the stigma of infertility, promote healthy lifestyle and diabetes and hypertension prevention and early detection. And I want to see the work, and I'm sure they will win.
Thank you very much, Professor Frank and Dr. Rasha Khalej, for being with us. I know you're here for a very, very short time. I hope you enjoyed, despite the rain, to see a little bit.
We're not here for the weather. We are here to work and further our good cause for everybody involved.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk. Thank you.
She's suffering with the shame of a name that a man with the same doesn't share what this woman feels. She is running around to men of God and traditional healers. Wagatala. She faces the consequences of getting divorced or contracting diseases, trying to prove she is just alright. It's expensive, not many medical facilities can solve her case, no. Omuseka seka ni jumba. Some of these traditions are breaking our women. We should be fighting and ending the stigma. Respect all our women, regardless of if they can bear children or if they cannot. Cause you never know the pain that these women feel. Atini chumba, ula mwana kazi. Omuseka seka ni chumba. Tetia kwa tabana, ula mwana kazi. Tetia fyala bana. Shajila kove leka kwamba vyatama pe aye. It takes a lot of strength to overcome what is said and done to her.